Free R. Kelly. What are y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about? We go play some bangers with some what's her name? Taylor Swift. Y'all think she gonna change her name, bro? To Taylor Kelsey?
First, there was Andrew Luck. Then there was Trevor Lawrence. And in 2024, there was Caleb Williams.
No, let's not do this. No. He was not. No. Caleb Williams is not up there with T-Law and Andrew Luck, especially. Yeah, nigga, best. He probably gonna come in here and just say one word and leave. Never come back again. Typical Best, acting like somebody's fucking dad. Caleb Williams is never as cool as good as Trevor Lawrence or Andrew Luck or John Elway. Anyways, Caleb Williams, damn well, ain't no goddamn Andrew Luck. Prospect-wise, I think Trevor Lawrence is probably the only one. I'm going to the Navy. Treat me with respect. Yeah, all right, buddy. You got me until 10. I probably won't even be live that long. I ain't gonna lie. It's probably gonna be like a 2 hours. That's probably it. But yeah, Caleb Williams was never that. Caleb Williams was never gone. He was never that. Never that.
A prospect so exceptional at every aspect of the game that he couldn't miss in the NFL. He was a guaranteed franchise quarterback for whoever found themselves with the number 1 overall pick, the next in line to receive the coveted generational tag. Or maybe the scouts got it wrong. His first season was a letdown by almost every possible standard, leaving doubts in more than a few minds. Despite the
I gotta give him the same benefit of the doubt. I gotta give him the benefit of the doubt. It was his first year, and he had a fucking stupid ass coach. Coach dumb as hell. Matt Eberflus, one of the worst coaches I've ever seen in my motherfucking life. He's going into his second year. Does he look great? No. Think he's about average, a little bit below average as of play right now.
Talent. There's a real chance that
but he does not
is
look
closer to Anthony Richardson than he is to Peyton Manning. Today, we decipher whether Caleb Williams fooled everyone. Caleb grew up in Washington, D.C., attending Gonzaga College High School. Already sizing up well at 6'2" and 190 pounds, he started looking like a prototypical quarterback early in his career, throwing for 172 yards and 3 touchdowns with no picks against Bishop McNamara, a game that was just his 4th at the high school level. He then developed further as a sophomore, winning a Washington Catholic Athletic Conference championship with Gonzaga. In the final postseason game against the DeMatha Stags, Caleb put up 7 total touchdowns.
I heard of him coming out of high school, and they were saying how he was practically, my thing is you can't put them on this totem. You can't put him on the same totem as Andrew Luck and especially Trevor Lawrence. Coming out of high school, Trevor Lawrence probably had to be the biggest name recruit I've ever heard. I'm not gonna lie.
3
one of the biggest I've ever
3
heard.
on the ground, and 1 on a 9-yard reception.
I think he was rated as a perfect QB.
He threw for 358 yards and ran for 113 more, plus the 9 receiving yards. At the end of that season, he was first-team All-Region and the DC Gatorade Player of the Year with his 3,000 total yards and 36 total touchdowns. Caleb Williams was the total package as a young QB. He had speed and strength like the modern mobile guys, but the accuracy and decision-making of classic pros. Recruiters were all over him.
It's nice. I ain't gonna lie. This is crazy nice like high schoolers, but man, it's high school, bro. We gotta like, it's right to prop them up because they were the best in high school. But feeling like that shit just translates to college that easily is insane. It's very rare that niggas are like this, bro. It's very rare that niggas are like this. Prime example, Arch Manning, I'll be honest, his first and second year, we was filling in spots for Quinn Ewers. He showed so much promise a lot of the time, but this nigga full time is not who the fuck niggas thought he was gonna be. He's not as of right now. crazy. But nah, I love when they hype up high school kids, but it just don't mean that shit translates automatically to the next level.
Continued to garner accolades as a junior, but his production did dip noticeably. Through his final 2 games of 2019, Caleb threw just 1 touchdown to a pair of interceptions, had just 1 net rushing yard on 32 carries, and had a completion percentage.
What the fuck was he doing in high school? What the fuck? Having 1 carry on 32, whoever the fuck they was playing was beating his ass. This nigga was getting fucked up. They said Arch a 5-star name, but a 3-star quarterback. Shit, hell yeah.
Barely above 50.
Hell yeah.
Those 2
that nigga
disappointing
was ass.
performances led to a loss at the end
Shit,
of the regular
2-star
season,
for real.
and a first-round playoff exit.
That nigga played like a no-star right now.
Champs.
I haven't seen shit from him that would make me want to.
This could have been Caleb's fault, but it does serve as the first instance of a troubling pattern. When other teams are aware of his talent,
man, sleepy,
playing
bitch.
for it, and he folds.
I'm not sleepy. I'm depressed, you whore.
Nevertheless, as the 2020 high school season was canceled due to the global pandemic, Caleb exited DC as the #1 quarterback in his recruiting class and was brought to the Oklahoma Sooners by head coach Lincoln Riley.
I think he was in that class with
freshman.
No, he wasn't in the class with JJ.
Behind supposed future first-rounder Spencer Rattler. Instead,
yeah, he's from DC. Went to Gonzaga High School or some shit like that.
2021 season, and Caleb was asked to step in just 6 weeks into his college career. Against the Texas Longhorns, the freshman debuted down 35.
Nah, I ain't gonna cap. I watched this game. When this nigga Caleb Williams went in and took over for Spencer Rattler, nigga, this was one of the craziest fucking games I ever seen in my life. And I was like, maybe this nigga is who the fuck they say he is. I swear to God, I thought this nigga was gonna be bigger than Trevor Lawrence, because this nigga came in. I think he was a true freshman. Came in and beat the dog shit out of Texas, fam. I'm talking beat the dog shit out of them. And then the rest of his freshman year was good. Where I started to feel like he wasn't that great was with fucking when he transferred to USC. I'm like, bruh, he's gonna be good, but he's not gonna be that fucking amazing like everybody is saying. #1 pick, but I don't think he has the upside of an Andrew Luck. I mean, Trevor Lawrence doesn't either, but he was a much better prospect in my opinion.
5 to 17 before leading 4 touchdown drives and 7 total scoring drives to come back and win. From there, he became the established starter at OU, going 5-2 as QB1, only losing to 13th ranked Baylor and 7th ranked Oklahoma State. His final game of the year was an upset win over the Oregon Ducks in the Alamo Bowl, and Caleb's solid performances as a freshman made him a leading Heisman candidate going into the 2022-23
Which
season.
he ended up winning.
Caleb followed Lincoln Riley to USC when the latter was hired in the 2021.
I was a Caleb hater. I hated this man. I despised him so much. I did not like this nigga at all. I did not want the Bears to pick him, bro. No cap, I did not want the Bears to pick this man at all.
Off-season, and the hype followed him. Against a
shit, there's a lot of quarterbacks not looking good that I thought was going to be a whole lot better.
Almost every game on their schedule after the additions of Williams and Riley. Luckily, the pair delivered. A 6-0 start, including 4 conference wins, was solid before they rebounded from a close loss to the Utes with 5 more consecutive wins. Weak competition or not, Williams was averaging more than 300 passing yards and 3 touchdowns per game, and he looked like a superhero while doing it. His rushing game took a hit at the collegiate level thanks to tougher defenders. His speed and footwork made him a threat inside and outside the pocket, forcing.
Yes. Yeah, it's like, it's fun seeing the NFL because you see the best against the best. But NFL is pretty fucking boring. Like, it's alright to watch, but that should be boring as hell though, dog. Like Lamar, Josh, Patrick, yeah. The gap is crazy. With here, you got a 1-star that was just so fucking raw. That just came out of nowhere. And in the NFL, like, you rarely ever have somebody that's like that 1-star. Like, it's rare as hell.
His way into plays that looked long dead. USC was 11-1.
Utah was beating nigga. When I tell you, I was rooting. I think this is when my brother went to Ohio State. Nigga, I was rooting for Utah to beat the shit out of USC, and they did both times.
Utah. The Trojans had
times they
lost
did.
by just 1 point in a shootout before, and Caleb Williams had basically already wrapped up the Heisman Trophy with his exceptional season. All they needed was this win, which they were heavily favored to get, and they'd be back in the college football playoffs. Instead, Caleb and the offense buckled against an inferior Utah team. USC struck first and had a 17-3 lead early in the second quarter.
And sold the fucking bag.
Offense disappeared, being outscored 44-3 for the rest of the game. Williams
Utah was tough, bro. We got to give Utah some respect.
363 yards and
Utah was nice, bro. Cameron Rising, bro. They had a fucking team, bro.
With 3 straight 3-and-out drives, and he followed their gasp-of-life touchdown with a red zone interception. The Heisman winner couldn't do anything.
Hey, this is where he fucking cried. I think this is where he cried.
USC lost both the championship and their playoff chances. Even less discussed, the exact same thing happened a few weeks later in the Cotton Bowl against Tulane. 28 points in the first half, almost 500 total yards, and 5 touchdowns for Caleb, but multiple stalled drives and mistakes with the lead, including a safety and interception, both of which were answered with touchdowns by Tulane. People blamed the defense, but at a certain point, the quarterback needed to make the offense score points, especially in such big spots. It would have been
I ain't gonna lie,
great.
this is why they make fun of not Cliff Kingsbury, Lincoln Riley. This is why they make fun of Lincoln Riley, because this nigga always gets to a big game and he shits the fucking bucket. Every year, like I go back to Baker Mayfield years at Oklahoma. And every time these niggas got in the big game, they were shitting the fucking bucket, dog. Like, I don't, they lose every big game, a playoff game, a championship
Caleb
game.
had been able to bounce back from a hard end to 2022. He had a shiny new trophy and was all but guaranteed to be the #1 pick in the next NFL draft. But all he did was coast on his reputation. 6 wins to start the year, all against unranked teams. The USC defense was bad enough that those games ended up still being contests, but at a certain point, Williams looked more like a stat patter than a superstar. And then, the real part of the schedule came, and the paper tiger side of Caleb returned. Against Notre Dame, Washington, Oregon, and Utah once again, the Trojans
They all
buy a
beat,
meaningful
they
win,
was
and
whooping
Caleb's
their
numbers
ass.
took a very noticeable dive. Only one of those 5 losses was by less than a touchdown, and the offense continued to give up after losing the lead. Caleb's offensive line and defense were huge factors in this, but the reigning Heisman Trophy winner was not without blame himself. The football
See
season
that shit, this shit that he was doing, this right here,
Trophy winner was not
this
without
is his fucking issue. This is still his issue in the league right now. This nigga does not know when to throw the fucking ball away. That's why, what? Like, this is why the fuck they was always losing games, bro. In the fucking Detroit game last week, this nigga threw the ball downfield to fucking nobody and Kirby Joseph intercepted it. Why are you not throwing it out of bounds, gang? I don't fucking get it, bro.
The football season is here.
We don't do that,
Sports
partner.
prediction
Not right
terms
here.
and conditions apply. Caleb's completion percentage went up, and he kept showing off his impressive physicality and quarterbacking traits, but every counting stat knows
I just personally don't think this nigga could be a great NFL quarterback. I think his game was pretty perfect, pretty great for college football. But this is not a skill set that translates to the NFL. This is different than like Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson it was able to translate because he went to the Ravens and they actually, built around him and shit. But the fact that this nigga's just reckless. Lamar's not reckless. This nigga is reckless, bro.
Even taking into account 2 fewer games, the issues were red flags, but not enough to bump down his draft stock in any significant way. Caleb was seen as a no-brainer #1 overall pick for the Chicago Bears, who got the pick via Carolina thanks to the trade that the Panthers had made to move up for Bryce Young the year prior. And for a franchise with such an awful history at the most important position in sports, Caleb was a blessing from the football gods to the Bears. After failing to develop Justin Fields, a top pick from 2021, it was time to move on to one of the best.
Even if Justin Fields doesn't look really great, They did Justin Fields in the worst fucking way a franchise could do a quarterback for real. They did Justin Fields so dirty. They had Velus fucking Jones out there as his wide receiver. They had a young Darnell Mooney. They brought DJ Moore in, his second year, something like that. But gang, they did him so dirty, bro. They did not give him the pieces that he needed at all to succeed. They did him so fucking bogus, bro, and I hate that for Justin Fields, dog. I really do.
Prospects in history.
He do look pretty decent.
Caleb was selected first overall as expected, and he was named the starter before he even came to terms on his rookie deal. The narrative machine churned like it always did, with questions about his mentality, whether the Bears would ruin him, and if his excellent college stats could have been a mirage. Many of those doubters were hushed, but not silenced early in 2024, when the Bears got off to a surprising 4-2 record. Caleb flashed some of his elite passing ability in a Week 3 loss to the Colts, setting the Bears' rookie passing record with 363 yards.
We beat nobody. We beat nobody, bro.
Mediocre run game but elite receivers. It seemed like Caleb was just a week away from breaking out. They were considered a frisky playoff team going into their bye, but when they came out of it, something wasn't right. An unprecedented.
In terms of that draft, I think Rome Odunze is going to be a better receiver than Caleb Williams will be a quarterback, respectfully. I'm going to support the Bears. Look at me. I'm going to support the Bears and what they got going on because I'm from there. Other than that, it's hard being a Bears fan, nigga. It's hard as hell. It's hard as hell being a Bears fan.
10 losses in a row, with an offense averaging less than 14 points per game and putting up multiple touchdownless performances. Of course, Caleb still had his moments, but it was much closer to 2023 USC Caleb. All style and no substance. Lots of passing yards and not nearly enough passing touchdowns to sustain an NFL offense.
I feel like one of the big reasons, the big issues is that Caleb don't have shit to show for it.
And the goal became to lay a foundation for 2025. The issues were clear. A weak offensive line, a questionable run game, and a massive deficiency in the coaching department. The team managed a morale-boosting Week 18 win over the Packers, but even that was more of a defensive showcase than anything. Thanks to the general mismanagement of the Bears, it was easy to overlook just how underwhelming Caleb Williams had been as a rookie.
But I have to give him the benefit of the doubt, though, because the Bears were not a good team last year. You see this last name, Everett? This nigga's old as fuck. We didn't have an offensive line. Our receivers were Keenan Allen and DJ Moore. That was good. That was good. But then we had a rookie Rome Odunze. We had Cole Kmet. I think he was hurt a majority of the year, though. I don't even think he was in as often as motherfuckers would think he was. I don't think so.
In fairness to him, the leap to the NFL is hard, and the team around
definitely
him
had
wasn't
a talent.
ideal. But Caleb had played with bad O-lines, bad defenses, and much worse groups of weapons than he had in the NFL.
But it was
While his
college,
coaching
though.
was awful.
It's bad because when you could make a quarterback could make up for the deficiencies in the team in college, but NFL, fuck no. If your team is bad, you're bad. If your team is bad, you're fucking bad. You can't make up for that shit, bro.
To see that as the only
There's no way
between
to.
Williams and
As good as Lamar
2025
Jackson is, he
offensive
cannot make
year,
up for that shit.
Daniels selected one pick later, but much more successful with a less talented roster around him. At some point, blame has to be handed to Caleb.
To coaching.
There were a few key issues with his game as a
To
rookie.
coaching.
First,
Coaching
he took
was
too
that
many
bad.
sacks. Blame the O-line all you want, but no one held on to the ball as long as Chicago's number 18 in 2024, which may have led to hero plays in college, but caused almost 70 sacks in the big leagues. Speaking of the hero plays, Caleb managed to buy himself time, but didn't always take the big shots that made him famous at the amateur level. He threw
it wasn't gonna work.
354 straight passes across 9 games without throwing a pick, both NFL rookie records, but something felt very 2020's Aaron Rodgers about it. Like, Caleb was more scared of a bad stat line than he was of losing. And finally, he wasn't leading late in games. Just like he showcased all throughout college, when the going got tough, he was quicker to hang his head than he was to pick up his teammates. Most of the Bears' losses down the stretch were
This is a dark time. This is a really dark time, especially playing Detroit on Thanksgiving. This was a really dark time. Y'all know how hard it was to be a fucking Bears fan, bro?
very winnable games, but the offense failed when it mattered most. If that is a question of maturity or just plain apathy, Caleb might not have the Warriors' heart that a top-flight quarterback needs. In 2025, all of the pieces are in place for Caleb to shine. Chicago shelled out for the hottest head coaching prospect in recent memory, the Lions' Ben Johnson, who promises to present an exciting offense for the Bears. They completely rebuilt this offensive line, they drafted more top weapons for Caleb and Colston Loveland and Luther Burden, and the defense is still made up of elite personnel from top to bottom. And yet, the cracks are still showing. Preseason training camp clips showed more embarrassing misses, interceptions, and tantrums than the kind of plays we associate with Heisman Trophy winning Caleb. And let's be honest, he didn't do much to convince fans he was on the right track in week 1. The pressure is massively on in this 2025 season, and Bears fans have to be worried about what they've seen so far. Right now, it looks like Caleb is taking his NFL experience for granted and coasting on his talent, just like he did in his junior years of both high school and college. If Caleb Williams can't find his competitive spirit and tap into his elite talent consistently at the NFL level, he might not be a bust, but he will be one of the most disappointing players in NFL history. 2020.
I ain't gonna lie, my personal opinion on that shit is like, my end statement on that shit is, I don't think he's a bust, but I don't think he's as good as what he was. I don't think he's as good as what he should have been or was supposed to pan out to be. Like, he hasn't done anything where it's like, that's it. Even in college, I thought he was a really good college quarterback. But outside of that, I didn't think he was worthy. I didn't think he was like number 1 pick worthy. But it was just like that freshman year and shit, just his ability to extend plays and all that shit. But I just don't think. I don't know, fam. I just don't think he's going to be as good as what his hype projected him to be.